Hello everyone and welcome to my latest video, in which I'll be discussing one of my favourite movies of all time, that being LA Confidential. So without further ado, let's get into my thoughts on the movie. LA Confidential was directed by Curtis Hanson and written by Hanson alongside screenwriter Brian Helgeland, based on the novel by James Ellroy. Starting with the story, LA Confidential is a complicated, layered narrative that follows three protagonists: Ed Exley, played by Guy Pearce, Bud White, played by Russell Crowe, and Jack Vincennes, played by Kevin Spacey. The plot centres around the Night Owl murders, a brutal incident that leads to the death of a police officer and several other victims. What the screenplay does magnificently well is how it connects the central story to all three characters. Each one conducts its own investigation, driven by personal beliefs and motivations. Only through a series of circumstances do their separate paths begin to cross. The story allows us to understand how Ed, Bud, and Jack each view the Night Owl murders, and more importantly, where their loyalties truly lie within the LAPD. For a story as complicated and interwoven as this, it lives on the strength of the screenplay, and both Hanson and Helgeland do a great job of making you care about the characters just as much as the mystery itself. Speaking of characters and performances, this cast is stellar from top to bottom. Starting with Guy Pearce as Ed Exley, Pearce was still relatively unknown in Hollywood during this time, but you'd never guess that from his performance. He plays Exley with a confidence that feels fully authentic to the character. There's a classic noir stoicism to Ed that defines him as a hero of the genre, but Pearce also brings out the character's flaws, particularly his inability to always see the good in people and his relentless drive to expose injustice, even when it damages his own reputation within the LAPD. This is perhaps best shown in the aftermath of the Bloody Christmas incident, where Ed testifies against his fellow officers. Russell Crowe is another standout as Bud White. Bud is a complete contrast to Ed Exley. Where Ed is controlled and calculated, Bud is physical, emotional, and driven by instinct. Crowe brings a brutish, forceful presence to the role. Unlike Ed, Bud is often blind to the injustice surrounding him within the police force, and is far more selfish in what he wants out of life. Crowe portrays Bud with the appropriate level of anger, particularly when it comes to his deep hatred of violence against women. Crowe's chemistry with Kim Basinger, who plays Lynn Brecken, is one of the film's highlights. Their scenes together allow Crowe to reveal a softer, more emotional side of Bud's character. Kim Basinger is excellent as Lynn Brecken. She delivers the sultry, glamorous elements expected of a noir femme fatale, but also brings a real vulnerability, especially when she speaks about her experiences with Fleur de Lis, the clandestine prostitution ring where women are surgically altered to resemble movie stars. Rounding out the trio, Kevin Spacey delivers one of the best performances of his career as Jack Vincennes. He plays Jack with the charm and charisma you'd expect from someone who moves comfortably through Hollywood circles. But unlike Bud, Jack is fully aware of his own shortcomings. There's a deep regret in him for not living up to what being a police officer should mean. This is beautifully captured in the scene where Ed asks Jack why he became a cop, and Jack simply replies, "I don't remember." James Cromwell is brilliantly effective as Captain Dudley Smith. He brings a smug, controlled menace to the role, making Dudley a physical representation of the corruption running rampant within the LAPD. And finally, Danny DeVito is great in his short but memorable role as Sid Hudgens, the tabloid journalist who works alongside Vincennes. Curtis Hanson's direction is nothing short of masterful. From the opening montage that establishes the history of Los Angeles and the role of the LAPD in the 1950s, to the epic final shootout between Ed, Bud, and the remaining corrupt officers at the Victory Motel, Hanson directs every scene with confidence and precision, fully immersing the audience in this world. From the period cars and costumes to the accurate props and locations, Hanson and his production team ensure the viewer is transported to an iconic moment in the city's history. One of the biggest challenges Hanson faced was getting the audience to care about Ed, Bud, and Jack simultaneously. And I remember after watching this film for the first time, feeling that Hanson and Helgeland absolutely pulled this off. Overall, LA Confidential is a film that stays with you long after the credits roll. From the outstanding screenplay and assured direction to the magnificent performances throughout, and not forgetting Jerry Goldsmith's incredible score, which captures the noir aesthetic perfectly. LA Confidential is without question one of the greatest films of all time, and it earns a perfect 10 out of 10. What are your thoughts on the film? Do you consider it to be a masterpiece, and do you have a favourite scene? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.